This review is irresistible. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Film Threat review show. I meant to say this review is of Irresistible, and I'm joined with Lorry Kikta. Hi, Lorry.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Hey, we're just going to jump right into it, but we're here to review Irresistible, starring Steve Carell, Chris Cooper, and Mackenzie Davis. It was written and directed by Jon Stewart, and the basic plot is a Democrat strategist, thanks to the 2016 election, has decided to go into a small rural town in Wisconsin, I want to say, and help a local war veteran run as a Democrat for the mayor of that city. So Steve Carell plays a strategist, Chris Cooper plays the colonel, I think, and then Mackenzie Davis plays his daughter. Rose Byrne plays the Republican strategist that ultimately shows up. So let's just talk about the movie, and we'll remove a little bit of the politics just at the moment, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
What was your general impression of Irresistible?
I thought it was like pretty funny because, and it's very much like if you enjoyed the Daily Show, then I think you'll definitely enjoy this movie because a lot of the humor is very much like in the same vein, like, and it's cool. It was cool for me to see Jon Stewart and Steve Carell like kind of teamed up again, because that's sort of where Steve Carell got his start, was on the Daily Show.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I would say, but is that Chris Cooper was not, because he has like so much gravitas and everything, and he's such a good actor. I feel like they could have utilized him a little bit more, but the story was so big that I can understand why they didn't.
Yeah,
but
and not to get into spoiler territory. I know what you mean, but when you get to the end, you kind of realize why he is the way he is.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for me, I mean, I liked it. I generally don't like going into political films too much, because I always, the part of it is, well, where's the trap? Where is it where one side gets to spew everything they want to say, and you see that kind of up front. You see a very partisan side to things from the very beginning, but at the end, you realize, well, this really isn't a political film in the sense of it has a stance, but is more of a commentary on the political process.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what, and as well as like anybody who's read any of my reviews, that I'm pretty liberal, but I thought that it was really cool kind of how they showed the sort of just ridiculous aspects of an election that happen on both sides, which they do, like this.
I mean, I'll say that it really focuses on the Democrat side, but it's not like it wouldn't apply to the Republican side.
No, yeah, I mean, I thought that Rose Byrne was like pretty perfect. She reminded me of Kellyanne Conway. I was like, if that was what they were going for, then they hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah. And it was just an interesting adventure that we're kind of taken on. And I suffer from the middle child syndrome, where I tend to sit like right in the middle of issues, and so that's why I think I get kind of bothered when films tend to lean one way to the right, to the left, or whatever on an issue. I tend to want to hear both sides, and I think early on I felt like, well, this is clearly one-sided, but again, it's like we can't say anything, otherwise we are spoiling this film. But there is a big twist that comes in, particularly at the end.
Even throughout the film, the way that they do the kind of satirical, they kind of make fun of these news programs and just how over the top that they are. and like you'll see Steve Carell and Rose Byrne together, like pretty much literally almost getting into a physical fight, and seeing the newscaster kind of egging them on, which is, you know, that's what happens on all the networks, Fox News, CNN, whatever you're going to watch. And they kind of attack all of them um equally, which I thought was really entertaining. And but something else that I enjoyed about it is, you know, I'm not without criticizing my political party or whatever. The something that happens with a lot of liberals is that they don't take into account the people that live in the South and the Midwest. And this isn't everybody, but there's kind of a misconception about people that don't live on the coasts, you know, that they're like dumb hillbillies or whatever. And this movie shows us not to discount those people. And I think that's a lesson that like politicians on both sides could afford to learn.
Yeah. I mean, again, without getting too political here, to me,
Yeah.
that was one of the major failings, I think, of the 2016 election, was forgetting that middle section of the country.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty much that, you know, that section that was pretty much ignored through most of it, and the ones that, you know, didn't come out in support of, you know, of Clinton at that time. One thing that struck me, it was when you do a political film, it's such a hotbed. There's just this anxiety that occurs, especially up front in the middle of this movie, because you realize, you know, it's not really about the issues, and it's not about this small town, but it's really about winning elections. You know, it seems like that's what our political process has come to, and that money, it plays such a huge part of it, and you just see how much money plays into it. What were your feelings going into it, knowing that this was a political film?
I kind of expected, because everybody knows like how Jon Stewart feels about our current president and everything. So I was thinking it was going to be very much like a raking over the coals of the Republican Party, like, and uh, you know, there's a part of me that's like that would have loved that honestly, but I'm I'm glad that it wasn't. I'm glad that it was more than that, because especially like in the end credits, like with they have an interview with an actual like financial advisor for, I think he was for the White House, and he was talking about super PACs and all of this stuff that a lot of people like maybe don't know about. And I think it's important. And I so but yeah, going into it I was just like, oh, this is going to be him kind of aping the Trump administration or something. But you know, I didn't look I usually don't read too much about a film before I watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah, and I think in your review, I think that we could both agree that this is a film that really needs to be seen by both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've heard it's been getting bad reviews, but I'm just not.
Yeah, I don't get
You know,
that.
I feel like it's more of a, people don't like it because of the position it takes on politics, as opposed to actually taking a side that
Yeah.
it tries to straddle that middle ground.
But I think that it's good that it does that, because, you know, it's coming out right, well, not right before, but pretty close to an election. And it shows the all the complexities of that, and the corruption that's involved with both sides. And I mean, and all the, you know, they have the technical advisors that look up everything about your search history on the internet to get you the right pamphlet sent to your door, the right email sent to you. And
And the Oppo research.
yeah, and I've like for the past, I don't even know, like 3 weeks, I've been getting a text message from Joe Biden every day. It made me think of that movie. I'm just like, oh my God, like what's going on in those camps right now?
So let me ask you this. This is the last question. So what do you think the title means?
If you see towards the end, they kind of highlight resist in there.
Oh yeah.
So the process is irresistible because of, to the politicians, because of their desire to win, but it's also about like us as a public, like resisting the corruption and resisting the,
Yeah.
raging against the machine or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is a sense of, that there's not a whole lot we can do about it, but maybe it's making the case that there's something in the way that we can bring civility back to politics. Yeah. So let's wrap this up. What rating did you give it? Yeah, you're the one who wrote the main review.
I gave it an 8 because I thought it was funny. I thought it had a good message. I thought that it was well written. The cast was great. And I really don't get why I'm like one of the few people who gave it such a high review.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I would say I would have given it 8 as well. And I think you just I think the important thing here is, regardless of your politics, you're gonna stew for a while through the first half of the movie, and then it just really starts getting better, and you start understanding what its true message is about midway through, which is pretty incredible. So yeah, good job, Jon Stewart. All right, I'm Alan Ning. You can reach me at my pal Al. Lori, why don't you tell us how we can get a hold of you?
Yes, I'm the Kikta at twitter.com, and then Lorry Kikta on Instagram.
All right. Well, with that, have a great day. All right.
Thank you.